Welcome to the Mystery Snapshots of History, where the past holds more secrets than you ever imagined. Developed in 1917, this early underwater suit enabled divers to descend to greater depths with protection from high seafloor pressure. Often called the Iron Man suit, it was built from articulated metal plates to provide flexibility and withstand extreme conditions. In 1989, crowds gathered to dismantle the Berlin Wall, marking the end of nearly 3 decades of division between East and West Berlin. Once a barrier that separated families and ideologies, the wall began to fall after it was announced that border crossings would be reopened. People brought hammers, pickaxes, and makeshift tools to tear it down piece by piece. A dramatic moment in 1943 shows Harg wrote it. Marines pointing bayonets at Colonel Anthony Biddle. Known for his mastery of close combat and strict training regimen, Biddle often instructed his men by allowing them to attack him directly. These demonstrations were meant to teach practical self-defense and disarmament techniques through real-time drills. An armored car from the Heimwehr, a far-right paramilitary militia, to patrol the streets of Austria in 1934. Amid political and social unrest, the group helped maintain control and suppress opposition. In 1957, famed director Alfred Hitchcock visited the MGM studios in Culver City, California, where he met Leo the Lion, the iconic mascot of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Although Hitchcock never worked directly with the studio, the visit included discussions about possible collaborations, though none materialized. In 1941, a telepath attempted to hypnotize a chimpanzee during a live show. Performances involving hypnosis, telepathy, and other mystical feats drew large crowds, challenging public understanding of science and perception. Commander Richard Byrd, wearing a leather helmet and mask, prepared for an Arctic flight during the 1926 expedition. Alongside pilot Floyd Bennett, he claimed to be the first to fly over the North Pole, completing the 360-mile journey in just over 15 hours. In 1882, inventor Old Reeve introduced a tricycle as a more stable alternative to the commonly used but unstable bicycles. The new design aimed to help people with balance issues ride more confidently and safely. About 20 minutes after the atomic bombing in 1945, the sky over Nagasaki remained an eerie and terrifying sight. 3 days after Hiroshima, the Fat Man bomb exploded over the city with a force of 21,000 tons of TNT, instantly killing an estimated 40,000 people and causing widespread destruction. During the 1932nd, a group of 30 men posed atop a DKWF-7 vehicle in Germany, demonstrating the machine's remarkable durability. Taken near a factory, the photo symbolized the automotive industry's innovation and adaptation in the face of economic and technological challenges following the Great Depression. With its lightweight and sturdy build, the DKWF-7 represented a new generation of efficient and affordable cars. In 1878, the head of the Statue of Liberty was displayed at the Third World's Fair in Paris. Thousands of visitors came to see the intricate work of French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. The exhibition played a vital role in raising both financial support and public interest for completing the monument, which at the time faced ongoing funding difficulties. In 1922, German children were seen playing with stacks of currency, illustrating the hyperinflation that devastated the Weimar Republic. Following World War I, Germany was required to pay substantial reparations under the Treaty of Versailles. To meet these obligations, the government printed vast amounts of money, causing the currency to lose nearly all its value. Thomas Edison, known for inventing the electric light bulb and phonograph, was also a pioneer in electric vehicles. In this early 20th century photo, Edison stands beside a car he helped develop. He firmly believed in the potential of electric cars, praising their quiet operation and mechanical simplicity. On a cold morning in November 1933, a crowd gathered beneath the Boren Viaduct in Belgium to witness an alleged apparition of the Virgin Mary. The previous day, children from a nearby Christian school reported seeing a serene vision near the viaduct, drawing curious onlookers, hoping for a divine encounter. In 1937, George Orwell, author of 1984, put on a military uniform and joined the Spanish Civil War. Born Eric Arthur Blair, he traveled to Spain to fight fascism by joining the militia of the Marxist Unified Workers' Party, a group opposed to Stalinism. His experience in the trenches shaped his critical view of politics and deeply influenced his later writings. During World War II, British military vehicles stationed in India were disguised to look like elephants. This creative camouflage technique helped conceal troop and equipment movements from enemy reconnaissance, blending the vehicles into their surroundings with surprising effectiveness. Marilyn Monroe and Tom Ewell appeared on the set of The 7-Year Itch during the filming of one of cinema's most iconic scenes. Monroe's ivory dress was blown upward by air from a subway grate, revealing her legs in a playful and seductive pose. Though comedic in tone, the moment became a lasting symbol of Monroe's legacy and pop culture of the 20th century. By the late 1802, extensive logging posed a threat to California's giant sequoia forests, including the Mark Twain tree featured in this photo. In response to the destruction, Sequoia National Park was established in 1890, marking an early effort to preserve vital natural ecosystems. Between 1920 and 1930, herds of sheep were a common sight wandering through the streets of London. The city used the animals in parks to naturally maintain grass levels. As an economical and effective solution in the absence of modern landscaping equipment. Around 1930, children in California took part in one of the earliest gatherings of the Mickey Mouse Club. Wearing masks of the famous character, they were part of Disney's initial strategy to build community engagement and promote Mickey, who had already become a cultural icon by the late 1922. In 1903, One Times Square was under construction at the intersection of Broadway and 7th Avenue. This skyscraper was part of a broader initiative to build a new headquarters for the New York Times, a project that would later give its name to the area now known as Times Square. As one of the first buildings to use steel frame construction, it reached over 20 stories high, an uncommon architectural achievement for the early 20th century. In August 1919, just 3 weeks after the Allied victory parade in Paris marking the end of World War I, pilot Charles Godefroy flew his biplane through the Arc de Triomphe. The daring maneuver required extraordinary precision, as the arch's opening was about 48 feet wide while his aircraft had a wingspan of nearly 30 feet. A 1945 photo shows Soviet cryptographer Igor Guzenko with his face concealed during an interview. While working at the Soviet embassy in Ottawa, Guzenko discovered a large espionage network and chose to defect, bringing over 100 documents as evidence. His disclosures led to the arrest and conviction of 29 individuals involved in Soviet intelligence operations in Canada. On the 16th of November, Beth Pitt was seen walking through downtown New York with her pet deer named Star Message. Earlier that day, she had been fined $2 for letting the deer wander freely in Central Park. During the Vietnam War, an African-American U.S. soldier read a message carved into a tombstone by the Viet Cong. The message accused Black American soldiers of committing in Vietnam the same injustices the Ku Klux Klan inflicted on their families back home. In 1911, a cinema entrance displayed a poster for a trip to Mars, with ticket prices at just 10 cents. As one of the first science fiction films to explore space travel, the film fascinated audiences long before space exploration became reality. A photograph taken 2 days before the Titanic disaster shows the iceberg that would later strike the ship. On the night of the collision, the ocean was unusually calm, making the iceberg harder to spot due to the absence of breaking waves. The poor visibility caused the iceberg to be detected too late. Despite earlier warnings along the route, Julia Child was photographed on the set of The French Chef, with 5 assistants hidden behind the counter. They helped prepare ingredients and dishes during filming without the audience noticing. First airing in 1963, the show became a milestone in American television, popularizing French cuisine and setting new standards for cooking shows. In 1899, French biologist Louis Boutin captured the first underwater photograph ever taken. At the time, divers used rigid, heavy suits with metal helmets and air tubes connected to the surface, limiting mobility but enabling groundbreaking exploration. In 1914, suffragette leader Emmeline Pankhurst was arrested in front of Buckingham Palace while attempting to deliver a petition to King George V. The petition demanded voting rights for women, a cause Pankhurst had long championed. The rapid suburban growth of Los Angeles during the 1952nd is captured in a photo filled with moving trucks. As families relocated to new homes, the city experienced a construction boom driven by economic growth and the rising popularity of automobile ownership. Adolf Hitler appears among a crowd celebrating the outbreak of World War I. At that time, he was just one of many citizens caught up in the wave of nationalism that swept across Germany, setting the stage for his future rise to power. During Prohibition in the United States, bootleggers wore shoes shaped like cow hooves to disguise their footprints. The unusual footwear helped prevent law enforcement from tracking the paths used to transport illegal alcohol. In 1925, high school teacher John T. Scopes was led to trial in Dayton, Tennessee, for teaching Darwin's theory of evolution, known as the monkey trial. The case ignited a nationwide debate over academic freedom, science, and religion. In the 1962nd, graphic artist and World War II veteran Harvey Ross Ball posed with a serious expression beside his most famous creation, commissioned by an insurance company in Worcester, Massachusetts to improve employee morale. Ball designed the now iconic yellow smiley face in under 10 minutes. A woman cooks on a wood-burning stove during the Great Depression. Souk stoves, simple and rugged, were essential for many families, both urban and rural, who lacked electricity, gas, or access to modern cooking appliances. A futuristic baby stroller appears in West Germany during the 1952nd. These designs reflected the optimism of the space age, as well as the technological ambition and reconstruction efforts following World War II. In the old Cincinnati Public Library, which opened in 1874, a man walks among shelves holding around 300 volumes. Despite its grandeur, the building was eventually demolished due to high maintenance costs and the need for modernization. Today, The site is occupied by an office building and a parking lot. In 1920, Sergeant Stubby, the most decorated dog of World War I, appeared wearing his military uniform. He participated in 17 battles, helping locate the wounded and alerting soldiers to gas attacks. His most remarkable action was capturing a German spy by grabbing him by the pants until American soldiers arrived. For this, Stubby was promoted to the rank of sergeant, becoming the only dog to receive such a title in combat. In 1927, Marcia Pinkenfield, a 6-month-old baby from a small town in Illinois, was named the most beautiful child in America. Her parents had entered her into the competition as a joke, without expecting any result, but she unexpectedly won the title. The Führerbunker in Berlin, a secret underground shelter, served as Adolf Hitler's command center during the final months of World War II. It was where he spent his last days with his wife, Eva Braun. In April 1945, as Soviet troops encircled the city and defeat became inevitable, both Hitler and Braun died inside the bunker. General George S. Patton's dog, Willie, was photographed mourning on the day of his owner's death. Patton took Willie with him on travels and inspections, believing the bull terrier brought comfort and luck through the stress of war. In 1925-inch Berlin, Dr. Heinz performed an injection using fluids extracted from a live hair. This treatment, combined with ultraviolet radiation and physical exercise, was part of an experimental attempt to rejuvenate the human body. By the age of 8, Samuel Reshevsky had become a renowned chess prodigy. In 1920, he played a simultaneous exhibition against 20 opponents in New York, winning 19 games and drawing 1. In a 1952 photo from Miami, contestants in the first Miss Slender Legs competition wear hoods over their heads. The contest focused solely on the appearance of the legs, so participants concealed their faces to ensure the judging remained unbiased and based exclusively on leg shape. A photograph from 1967 shows the moment American pilot John McCain was captured by Vietnamese forces at Truc Bark Lake in Hanoi. After being shot down during a mission, McCain ejected and landed in the lake with multiple broken bones. He was captured and spent 5 years in Hoa Lo prison, where he endured torture and harsh conditions. During a 1966 water landing training session, the Apollo 1 astronauts prepared for their upcoming spaceflight. Tragically, their mission was cut short when all 3 died in a fire during a launchpad test just months before the flight. A 1961 photo shows Disneyland employees in a cafeteria line still dressed in character costumes. While employees today no longer wear costumes backstage, the Disney look remains a strict policy that governs their appearance and behavior in public, maintaining the illusion and experience for guests. One of the first models of the computer mouse was demonstrated in 1968. This invention transformed how humans interacted with computers, replacing complex commands and punched cards with a simple, intuitive tool. In 1981, Pablo Escobar and his son posed in front of the White House. At that time, the Medellin cartel, under Escobar's leadership, was responsible for about 80% of the global cocaine trade and made roughly $420 million per week. In 1932, 2 women were seen training with firearms at a prison on Roosevelt Island in New York. During that period, correctional practices began to include rehabilitation programs and vocational training to better prepare inmates for reintegration into society. A banquet was also held around that time in honor of the French soldiers known as gueules cassées or broken faces, many of whom wore masks to cover facial mutilations suffered during World War I. A circus performer in Berlin in 1933 was photographed standing inside an aquarium with crocodiles. Exotic and dangerous acts like these were common in European circuses of the era, aiming to constantly shock and captivate audiences with new attractions. This image shows Albert Einstein's office exactly as he left it on the 18th of April. 1955, the day of his death. Located at Princeton University, where he spent his final years at the Institute for Advanced Study. The modest workspace reflects his continued efforts to unify the laws of physics. His open books and chalkboard filled with notes show that he was working until the very end. In 1918, the first food truck was built by modifying a Ford Model T using wooden boards and planks. It served fast meals to workers and passers-by in Washington, D.C., offering items like sandwiches, fruit, and hot drinks to meet the needs of a fast-moving urban population. After World War II ended, Nazi soldiers were shown footage of concentration camps. Allied forces made regime members witness the atrocities committed by bringing them to screenings or directly to the camps, forcing them to see the immense suffering inflicted on millions of innocent people